I wasn't over impressed with how it looked on the tiller last time. There was a weak point here and the whole thing looked a bit hingy either side of the grip. So I've blended in this area a bit and that's where the weak point was. So I've removed wood either side of it, smoothed out the taper, and the other thing I've done is tapered the outer limb, still not fully tapered, but to much more how it will be on the finished bow. But I was feeling lazy and I couldn't be bothered to glue on temporary overlays, so I just left it wide and left my original temporary string grooves in there. Got it back on the tiller and it looked much better. This is the weaker limb, so what I do is the weaker limb will be the upper limb, and on the tiller I always put that to the right, and that's the side I put my string adjusting ring on as well. The reason I do that is it's very easy to forget which way round the bow is and end up working on the wrong limb. So I always have the upper limb to the right, or lower limb left if you like, that makes it easier to remember. I've narrowed it a fair bit, especially at the tips, because it was in danger of looking like an American flat bow or an American long bow. If you like, it's supposed to be an English long bow. And there are rules, guidance as what constitutes a long bow. And basically it shouldn't be any wider than 1.6 times the thickness, or a ratio of 8 to 5. Well, there's an expression that rules are for the guidance of wise men and the obedience of fools, but just looking at it you could see it was looking a bit too wide. So I've narrowed it a fair bit. The only worry now is, am I going to start running out of draw weight? The other thing is, people who haven't seen my videos before will say, why is it leaning on the tiller? And the answer is, it's supported at the centre, but the balance is being pulled from opposite the arrow pass. Also, there's the weight of my string adjusting ring there. And the observant amongst you will notice the string's a bit higher now because I have threaded it one more time through that loop. It's still not braced, but you know, the string's getting shorter. Still looking a little bit weak there, but not as bad. See, that'd be about brace height, I reckon. It's pulling to 90 pounds. I mean, maybe we're not going to make 120. It was about just shy of 100 at about 30. Looks like it's taken a whisker of set there perhaps, but that's not looking too bad. I think I'm going to exercise it a bit more, you know, whack it back and forth, see how it flexes. Does feel slightly thin there still, a little bit thicker just here. And of course, any weak point becomes the limiting factor for how heavy the bow can be. And the trick is, as soon as you see something that looks slightly weak, stop. And the only way to make it better is to remove wood either side of the weak point, remove wood everywhere else. Maybe I'll run out of draw weight, but we'll see. I mean, I was aiming for 120, if it's 100, it doesn't really matter. So I'll exercise it a bit more, and if the bend's looking good I might heat treat the belly now, but of course I'll be losing some draw weight when I start taking all the corners off. I'm going to leave the belly fairly flat, so it will be like a sort of inflated rectangle, if you like. It's not going to be very rounded on the belly. I think the overall balance isn't bad. I think I can ease off here a bit more, ease off there just a tad, try and get these outers coming round a bit more. Left limb is a bit stronger, which is what you'd expect. I might take her up to 100 and see. See, that's about 100 at 30, and I know it's not braced, but it pretty much works out. As long as your long string isn't too long, whatever you get on the long string still ends up correlating to what you get once it's braced. Of course the bow's under a bit more strain, so I want to take care to get the tiller as even as possible now. But it's not far out. I think I'll tidy it up a bit, heat treat the belly, get her back on the tiller.